Hi, this is Zak Mir with the best of the recent Bulletin Board Heroes stocks. It is Sunday, the 27th of April. Starting off with Cora, which had its big winning day on March the 10th. You can see that they're gapping through resistance. We never really looked back after that. The target at that time was up to 6 pence. Obviously, cleared that quite easily. Next level up to as high as 10 pence. Which we're looking for by the end of next month. But a great turnaround after an extended time on a basing type of footing. Moving along to Catenai, which has been one of the recent heroes. Here we had a vertical move, and actually probably this one of the best in the sense that the broadening triangle base at the 0.15 level was identified via a rising uptrend line in the RSI window. So basically called the low here at 0.15. The initial target then was 0.32, which we had a couple of goes at hitting. Then it was 0.44, and now while we're above 0.44, looking for a retest of the best levels through 0.8. Key here probably is that there's no end of day close back below the January resistance there at around the 0.4 pence level. The stock, which had a similar name and had a similar price action before Catenai, was Capai, and here the situation, well, the start of the rally started with a gap through resistance, a bit like, almost exactly like Cora. In fact, that time the initial target 0.1, then up to 0.19, and then finally we were looking for 0.36, which was also easily achieved. The current situation is that we have one final target in mind towards 0.66, and that's valid while we hold above 0.37, the previous target area. Moving along to Capital Metals, and here it was, I'll say an easy situation, but there was a falling wedge and there was a break of the 50-day line around 1.6 pence. Above that, we were looking for the top of a triangle there up to 2.5 pence, and above that, we're now looking for the shares to head as high as 3.5 pence, which was support on the way down, i.e. support back in April last year. One of the more consistent rises, Greatland Gold, I suppose one of the more obvious ones was Greatland Gold, but it took quite a few attempts to get through the rather difficult 8 pence area, so the range 5 pence to 8 pence or 6 pence to 8 pence was rather irritating over a couple of months, but then the big breakout happened at the beginning of February, tested that as new support around 7 3/4 pence, and then it was finally up. So second target there up to 9 3/4. Above that we were looking for 13, and above 13 we've been looking for 17. We've sort of managed to avoid it this time with the high 15.95, which is disappointing obviously, but end of day close back above 13, and we should be back on our way towards potential 17 pence target hopefully by the end of next month. One of the stocks which was identified on both a fundamental and a technical basis was Great Southern. I spoke to the company thinking that it looked a little bit different from all the other copper players, and certainly has been, because its shares have actually rocketed. Current situation is that we've had support above a rising 50-day line, so that's a positive. We've had support above the previous floor there around 3 pence, and while we're above the 3 pence zone, looking for the one of the previous targets there, 4.5 pence, and best case here as high as 6.5 pence, but maybe that'll have to wait for the end of next month or a bit later. But above the 3 pence area, looking for 6.5 pence on Great Southern. One of the few oil plays to do well in the recent past has been Jersey Oil and Gas, and here this was also spotted breaking the top of that rising trend channel there at around 85 pence. That was our second target. I think the first one was around 70. And then we were looking for 105, and then what seemed to be ridiculous, 134, that resistance, the purple line there. Best case here is up to 144 pence, which is support on the way down. And we're looking for that while we remain above the 105 pence area, one of the previous target lines. Metals One has been brilliant since the rug pull that we had back in February, and that was at 2 pence. We were then looking for the 200-day line, currently around the 6 pence area, and obviously we're now in a rising trend channel. The top of the channel there, currently heading for as high as 33 pence, which is what we're looking for by the end of next month, if we can get a swift break back above the 20 pence levels, which seems to be near-term resistance for the shares. But upside certainly valid while we're above 14, which is recent support for the stock. Mkango has been one of those stocks which has revitalized and remodeled itself over the recent past. Took a while, as all of the big turnaround situations have done, but top of the channel there at 23 pence, and we're looking for that while we're above recent resistance at 15 pence. Everyone waiting for, well, at least some people waiting for litigation news on Panthera. It looks as though something is happening there, given that we've basically broken out of the big range highs there towards 8 or 9 pence. Above that, we've stayed above the 50-day line there at 11 pence, and in the target here, the second target here at 17, third target up to as high as 24 pence, which one would expect by the end of next month, while we remain above last month's resistance at 13 pence. Thor Explorations has been another golden situation in many ways, pulled back to one of our previous targets, 32 pence, but the longer we stay on the right side of 30 pence, the greater the chance of a fresh leg to the upside, 47 pence maybe, over the next couple of months, while we're on the right side of the 30 pence area. Finishing off with Vast, which was a winner both on a fundamental basis and a technical one. The fundamental one was that on the 10th of January, the CEO lent the company an interest-free loan of €500,000, which it didn't have to be Warren Buffett to work out. That was quite a generous gesture. Since then, just one test of the 50-day line, which was rising, so positive ricochet there. And we've been above the 50-day line since the end of January. Various targets here. The first one was 0.22, the second one around 0.3, third one around 0.47, which was just hit on Friday, and the final one, if everything goes well, up to 0.7. But we'd like to see the share stay on the right side of that the old June resistance of 0.38, which gives a little bit of wiggle room for what those wishing to run the position a bit further. But you can see, obviously, quite a lot of people just said thank you very much on Friday. That's it for me today. More updates in the normal manner during the week.